Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Board of Selectmen meeting for Monday, March 24th. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Seven 7:45. Okay. Joe, which item are you here for? Which item are you here for? Okay, come on up. We're just going to take a couple quick things out of order.
Thank you very much, I appreciate that. As we're starting to go through the library building project, the library, the church, the rectory, they were purchased by the town. There are some things that we've come across in there that we're not going to be using, and we thought it'd be nice to offer it back to the town whether people wanted them. I don't think they really have any monetary value, but there may be some people who would want them out of sentimental value from the church or something. We've got 16 light fixtures, the overhead light fixtures in the church. There are 10 large ones and 6 small ones, and there's the old wooden altar. And we just thought we'd offer it up to the town.
Okay.
We've talked to the town crier. They'd be willing to do an article on it for us.
Just the light fixtures that were in the main church?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't guess we can just offer them up as anybody that wants to take them.
You're not doing that?
Is there anybody that wants to take them, right? I don't think there's any. Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. Just wanted to
Yeah,
check
if the
with you
town
folks
crier
to make
would
sure.
like to put that out there, and then they can contact, just put Joe's cell phone number in the crier.
That would be fine.
No, if they could contact the Board of Selectmen's office via
Okay.
email, would be great.
That'd be great.
Website too.
Yeah, we can even probably put it on the website. The new website's going live April 1st, so,
Okay.
yeah, we'll put it out there on the new website, just because I don't think we're making much in the way of adjustments with only a few days left on the old one. So. Okay, great.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Have an announcement for the Mendon Fire Department's 90th Anniversary Committee. You have any information?
Details are, is a little tab that says fire department.
Got it. Got it. The first meeting of the Mendon Fire Department's 90th Anniversary Committee will be held on Wednesday, March 26th, beginning at 7 p.m. at the Senior Center, 62 Providence Street. Interested Mendon residents and friends of the Mendon Fire Department are welcome to attend. Discuss 36 Milford Street and commercial development. That must be...
So this was whether or not we wanted to consider a small piece of the front parcel for solar, and whether or not we want to put that on the ATM. And Northeast isn't here. I don't think they can make it tonight. And they were actually just sort of saying, well, you can discuss it, but we're not sure how you want to proceed. So it's sort of an open question to us.
I know that they were working with some of the private land that's up in the back there as well. I don't know how they're making out with that, but, so that's a possibility too. I suppose we could put an item on the ATM just in case we need it, and then pass over it if there's no need for it. It's up,
Put a placeholder out there?
it's fine by me.
Yep.
Okay. Placeholder for that. Is that it? There's crickets in here. Discuss highway department storage due to medical leave? Alan?
Yep. I'm trying to find a cricket.
No problem.
Good evening. As you know, I have somebody that hurt their back. He's out on medical leave right now. He's been out since February 24th.
Shortage, sorry. I said storage, not, I'm like,
Wasn't
why
a
would?
typo.
No, it was me reading it. I was,
Well, I get three things I'm going to run
Okay.
one right after the other.
go ahead.
So I have somebody out on disability. They've been out since February 24th. I got a doctor's note saying he could probably come back April 14th. I have to see the prognosis and what's going on. I'll keep you abreast on that. The other thing that I wanted to talk to you about, the new police station, I've been charged with trying to find out about insurance for it, being a town. It hasn't been turned over to the town yet.
Yep.
And there was some, not discrepancies, but just some unknowns about what's going on over there. So I actually emailed our insurance carrier, I forget the guy's name, but I gave him the whole line sheet right out of the assessor's office with the values and the assessments and all of that stuff, and he's gonna be getting back to me with a price for insurance, and then when we have our next meeting, the Friends of the Mendon Police Station Building Committee, I can let them know, and I'll keep you abreast on that.
Okay.
Also. Okay, so that's two, so I got one more.
Yep.
We need some more money for snow and ice.
Okay.
I'm right now around 10,000 over the last 20 that you, or 40, whatever they gave me.
Yeah.
And so I don't have to come back every week and see her about it. I figured 20,000. If I don't need it, I won't spend it. I'm not gonna run out and,
Yep, understood. Do you have a motion for that?
I just texted the chairman of the finance committee.
Perhaps you'd like to join
That was the
us.
cricket.
I think you had too many zeros on it, didn't you?
What'd I put, 2 million?
Yeah, so you just need, we just need to make a motion
You
to,
just need to make a motion, they have to
Initial
vote the amount, and
accept the
hopefully won't-
motion to extend snow and ice by another 20,000.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, perfect. Done.
that's it.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We do have public hearings at 7:30 and 7:45, so if we do get started on something, I might need to hold somebody off. Discuss the ballot vote and warrant article for Blackstone Valley Tech new debt. Is that a big discussion? Rich? Huh? All right, why don't we hold that off till after that? Discuss animal control officer's position. Come on down.
Do I have to state my name and address?
If you could just give your name, that'd be great, so everybody at home knows.
Maximilian Carboni. Currently, I am the Mendon Animal Inspector, and in the past, I'd say about 9 months, I've realized that I have not received much help from our current ACO, in that my duties are severely overlapping her duties. So I have kind of came up with this idea to kind of combine both of the positions into one, because I'm already doing the duties of what an ACO would do as animal inspector, and I'm usually in town, and I always respond immediately to the calls that I get from dispatch.
Okay.
And I've just had way too many situations where I've had no help from the current ACO, so I just feel that there needs to be something done about that.
Okay. So right now, Rich, what's the cost of the current, our current contract with the animal control officer with the other town? 9,800? Okay, and so by combining these positions, what are we looking at as far as an increase in whatever that, if we combine them into the, under the animal inspector and animal control officer, how much of an increase would we be looking at in to combine the two positions that you would be receiving?
Don't exactly quote me on this, but the last meeting I sat in with the Board of Health, they said that they were requesting from the Finance Committee for the salary of the animal inspector to be bumped from $1,000 annually to $3,000 annually. So if you combine the $3,000 salary with the $9,800 salary, that would be your expense for
Okay, so
that
the
position.
increase,
Whoa, slow down, slow down.
yeah.
So we're looking to,
Or
no,
whenever
I
it's being
just, I
done.
just want to back up just to understand. Explain to me the overlap of animal inspector and control officer.
So the overlap of the animal inspector and control officer is, I write the quarantines, I release the quarantines,
Yep.
I go and I take statements on people that have been bit by dogs in town. I make note of those statements.
Right.
I make sure that all of the barns are inspected in town and that everyone who has a barn has a barn permit, which technically barn permits, there's a gray area that it overlaps with animal control. I have done a dog license audit, which no one has done in a while, which the animal control officer is supposed to be responsible for dog licenses. I have found dogs in town that are unlicensed and have made multiple complaints to the ACO, and those same dogs that are not licensed have not been licensed yet, almost 9 months later. We have many dog problems on a specific street that I have.
Just want to slow down, just because I'm hearing what you're doing, which is great. I'm trying to understand, one, I'm not sure, Ernie, if you can, the animal control officer in my mind's under public safety, and it's under a shared services agreement with Uxbridge, is that
And
fair?
Douglas.
And Douglas?
Yes, animal control's under the police department. I
Right.
oversee the animal control, not the
Animal inspector.
animal
Right.
inspector.
Right.
Some of that $9,800 goes to a couple of different things, including storage costs for dead animals, taking certain animals in that have to be examined. There's a few things there. We are currently in a contract. I can certainly take a look at that and see where it's at. Frankly, I'm not sure where it's at. Dog license actually do not come under
Right.
the animal controls. They come under the town clerk.
Town clerk.
Dog officer enforces them.
Right.
But does not oversee the licensing of them. That's done by the town clerk. I mean, there's definitely some areas that could probably be improved.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering, who has, in the same way that you manage dispatch on behalf of the agreement, which police
Uxbridge
department?
manages it for Mendon and Douglas, and right now, they just got a new police chief in.
Okay.
And he's in a little bit of transition, but, I mean, I could probably reach out to him and get some
Well, I
more
mean, I think
information.
you're bringing up some valid concerns, right? A lack of responsiveness.
Yes.
And
And-
given our history with dog complaints, this board's history,
Yeah.
I would probably want to follow up
It's
on that a
definitely
little
something to
bit.
revisit, particularly if you've got somebody that's
Yeah,
interested.
and we can
Which
check
makes
on
sense.
the,
Yeah, I'll file a report to the board and let you know where it's at and all the different issues and how that money breaks down.
yeah,
And then you can make a decision on what your thoughts are. The issue becomes if you're going to have your own animal control, well, then we have to provide the kennel.
Right.
We've got to provide a vehicle to transport them, and we start to get into a lot of issues. And I'm not saying that might not be the way to go. I just honestly, off the top of my head, I don't know enough about it.
it'll be more than salary.
Those are the issues that I actually have jotted down.
Yeah.
Which we'd have to reopen the dog pound.
Right.
But I know a situation that is going on now. I think the current ACO has a facility at her house, so
Is that,
it's totally
Good or bad?
legal. It's totally legal.
okay.
No, it's totally legal. There's a clause, and I want to say it's like Chapter 142 in the ACO laws that it comes into like town reimbursement and stuff like that. So there are costs, there are benefits, there are negativities of having one versus the other.
Yep.
So it's definitely something that has to be looked at.
this is really sort of an opportunity or an idea you have, right? About
Yes.
the possibility, not,
Yes.
let's do it tomorrow?
I wouldn't be opposed to that, but it's definitely something that has to be in the works because due to the fact that it is, a good chunk of change, even if it was, say, a $5,000 salary for the year, it's still a good amount of money that is on the table. So it's definitely something that needs to be thought of, but I feel that right now I'm doing a lot of their responsibilities and duties, and
And
it
that's
would-
not right.
It would be an easy transition for me to become an ACO, and it's just not right that I'm fielding a lot of the calls.
So why, just
Okay.
one last question, in terms of why are you fielding dispatch calls that would go to ACO?
Dispatch calls me.
Our
So-
dispatch calls you?
Yep.
Because, is it potentially because there's
I'll
lack
I'll
of...
have to look into that.
It may be responsiveness, right? So if we know we got somebody that...
Yeah, it could very well be. I know there's also a health issue.
Okay.
With someone in the ACO.
So you know me, I'm all for consolidation.
Right, so initially, and again,
efficiencies.
we're just running close here, 10 minutes is we got, so, we initially had combined because it was a actual cost savings at that time. I think it worked well for a while. The previous animal inspector was, they were completely doing a completely separate thing. They were the animal inspector for a very, very long time. And then, I believe, just before you, there was another animal inspector when that animal inspector passed away. So for a short time, there was, who was doing it? I want to say, who was the last animal inspector we had?
Was it Lenny? Lenny is it?
It was Lenny's son, I thought.
From Lenny to his son? Lenny was
I'm drawing a blank on the
Anyhow,
name, but-
so where we're at today. But there was really no, I don't think, any interest in being the animal control officer at that point. I think that, given that there's been, it's tough from our perspective to understand if there has been any issues as far as what's going on, although I do hear on certain times, the odd thing is we do get, when we do have a dog hearing, for instance, I feel like some people are saying that they're not, they're not getting the responses that they're asking for, and then we actually see a list, and it says, okay, they did make the call, and here it was, and it was transferred. And whether it was followed up with after that on the ACO's part, I don't know how good that is. And I know that dealing with 3 towns, and it's a, single-person job, maybe there's she seems to have an assistant that pops in with her the last few times there. That I think that it's definitely worth a look if somebody's definitely interested in doing it here. I think it's going to increase. If it was a matter of just, moving the money, sideways, much easier, but with those other items, I think that what I'd like to see from, if you could maybe get an appointment with the Finance Committee to go over, to exactly find out what the cost is going to be to the town.
Yep.
We can at least get it on the list of things that everybody's asking for, and try to find a timeline for that.
Maybe we treat it like
if-
automotive, where we kind of take a step back and
Yeah,
do an
really look at
ROI
it.
and...
Yeah, because there's he has to get certified, he has to
Right.
get trained, he has to go to the Animal Control Academy. And there's a lot of issues here that have to be addressed before you can give him that authority. So it's not quite as easy as just,
Right, we're not just saying it's kind of
Yeah,
like I said.
as of this year in 2014, the Animal Control Officers Association of Massachusetts has made it mandatory that all animal control officers do the 10-week academy.
Okay.
So before you didn't have to be certified, but now you have to be certified. So, and I just missed the academy, so
Okay.
I don't think they hold one until either late fall or early spring of next year. So it's definitely something that needs.
Well, let's start to get it on the
Needs to be
radar
in the
so
works.
that, again, we can get it on the ask list. Rich?
I was just going to say that I was trying to double check it, but I'm almost positive that we did exactly what the young man is saying. We did move them. The Board of Health complained several years in a row that the $1,000 we had was just...
Not enough,
So
right.
it is, I believe for FY15, it's in the budget for 3,000. And yeah, it's 9,800 on the...
Okay. All right, understood.
you. Thank you.
Great, all right, thank you for coming in.
Thank
Sure.
you.
And yeah, like I said, if you could get with them to get with the Finance Committee to go over the exact numbers, I think that will be helpful, so we understand where we're going from there.
All right. Thanks.
All right, so we have a hearing for 7:30, public hearing to transfer alcohol license from Rollo and Son Incorporated, DBA Merit Ballroom to Imperial Ballroom LLC.
Mr. Chairman, I move to open the public hearing and consider the application to transfer a restaurant all-alcohol license at 6 Nipmuc Drive from Rouleau and Son Incorporated, doing business as Marriott Ballroom, to Imperial Ballroom LLC.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Good evening, everybody. How are we doing?
Good evening.
All right. This here. I'm going to turn the floor right over to you guys if you want to go ahead and get started.
Well, good evening. On behalf of the applicant, Joseph Antonellis, my office is in Milford. With me tonight, John Doherty Dixon, who is the Chief Financial Officer of your applicant, and also Sharon Santucci, who we have asked that the board appoint as manager of the facility. Gentlemen, I think you're very well familiar with the Myriad Ballroom and know that the transfer has taken place of the real estate from Ed Rollo's family to a organization, an entity created by Kevin Meehan. And the intention is for the new owner, under the name of Imperial Ballroom, to continue the operation of the Myriad Ballroom in much the same manner in which it's been operated in the past, with the addition maybe of some additional events. I think that in the present time, we've done a couple of tryouts under the license with Ed still involved, as obviously because the liquor license is still his. So we've kind of done a little combination thing with a dinner dance kind of situation, but we're still looking primarily to run the facility under the expressed manner in which it's been run in the past, which is primarily for weddings, functions, family kinds of things. I think that the facility has operated in the town of Mendon for as long as I can remember. I know for my entire life there's been something going on there. I remember going there over to many events as a young person, and then throughout my adult life. So I think that what you'll find is a continuation of the existing business there, run in the way. I think that Mr. Meehan's care and relationship to his real estate is well known to this town. Everything that he purchases here, he tends to improve by making additions, alterations, etc., to the facilities. And I think that is Kevin's intention here, to slowly make some improvements to the building. John, to my right, is very, very involved with Kevin's businesses as the Chief Financial Officer, and he will be managing the absolute business flow there. And Sharon, who has been an employee of the Rollo family for many, many years, knows more about the function hall business than just about anyone in the area. And when it came time, when Kevin asked me, you know, who do we get to be the manager under the liquor license, I suggested Sharon because I think you all know Ed's a very close personal friend of mine. He would always tell me how much he relied on Sharon. So when Kevin asked me the question, I said, well, Eddie always said Sharon, so you should pick her. Sharon has significant experience, as I said, in the day-to-day management operations, in the liquor purchasing. She is fully aware of the obligations relative to the service of liquor, and I think would make an appropriate person for you to have the continuation of the type of business that's been run there. I believe we submitted a complete application. I think that you also know that the rules and regulations of the Alcohol Beverage Control Commission have tightened up substantially over the last 2 years, and there is a significant look period now from the ABCC. They'll take a very, very thorough look at all of the materials that have been submitted relative to the ownership, the manner in which where the money comes from, the financing that's involved in that sort of thing. Feel very comfortable with the application. I've been involved in a few of them lately, and again, there's more information now than there would have been a year ago if we were submitting that. I don't mean to take up too much of your time. I asked both John and Sharon to be here tonight, especially Sharon, because I believe your action tonight requires a vote naming her the manager. But John, here to talk about anything that you need to discuss regarding financing. Kevin couldn't make it because of a prior commitment, and I felt confident that we could handle it tonight with the board. I'd also like to thank your staff for catching a little mistake in the application. I thank you very much relative to we had forgotten to check off the box that said on-premise food, and that saved us. That would have got rejected. The ABCC would have rejected it. Thank you again. That was very nice of you to make that catch. I thought we had caught everything, we didn't. So I know you always appreciate your staff being complimented when it's deserved, and it is in this case. So with that, I'll stop talking and turn it over to the board. I apologize for being longer than I need be. But you know how I get.
Chief?
Highly recommend Sharon as the manager. Dealt with her on the police side from, I don't even know how many years, almost 30 years. No issues, runs a tight ship, never had sobriety issues in the building.
Sure. I don't I don't know that we appoint her as the manager. You just select us. You tell her.
I think my experience is that we recommend her and that you make a separate, you have to approve it from the local level.
Yeah.
In order for it, so.
Oh,
you-
right,
You would
understood.
approve, yeah, you would approve two things. One would be the transfer to license, and second would be you would approve Sharon, because there is a local review process.
All right, cool.
Just a quick question. How do you spell Sharon's last name?
I'll do it, Santucci.
All right.
And it's Sharon, right? The normal Sharon spelling.
All right. I'm good.
I know that there was a couple of issues that we had discussed in regards to the building department and possibly with the fire department as far as sprinkler systems and whatnot. I think that the plan is that the plan for the facility is probably to be expanded and adjusted. And at this time, I know that, in speaking with the building inspector, that in the past, that the whole sprinkler system situation has been waived based upon what goes on in the facility. I know that there was some discussion about putting in an alarm system that would at least contact the central office in the event of an emergency. So I think that might be one open item, just as far as not, I don't think anything that will delay what we're doing here this evening, but I know that was a request when I had spoken to the building inspector about the sprinkler system and whatnot.
Not a problem.
Sure, and I do apologize. I actually was supposed to get back to you on that, and I called a couple times, but I couldn't get in touch with you.
I understand. No problem. It will be taken care of this week.
Okay, cool. So again, in that way, at least, that there's notification to the central office and to the police department in the event that
Absolutely.
there is an emergency. So, and then, again, with any expansion, obviously, that would warrant the installation of a sprinkler system at that time, given the size of the facility, so.
Absolutely.
I think that would be great. So just on that note, if there's,
Close the hearing?
well, I don't know, is there anybody else in the audience has any questions or concerns in regards to the transfer of the license? All right.
I move to close the public hearing to consider the application to transfer a restaurant all alcohol license at 6 Nickmutt Drive from Rulo and Son Incorporated, doing business as Marriott Ballroom, to Imperial Ballroom LLC.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate
just
your
a-
cooperation again.
So,
Oh, you know something?
that's why you had the folder, you know. You need that.
Just for formality, I forgot to read this. This was supposed to be read at the beginning, so I do apologize. The Board of Selectmen hereby give notice that it will hold this was posted in the legal section of the Milford Daily News, blah, 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 on March 13th, 2014. The Board of Selectmen hereby give notice that it will hold a public hearing March 24th, 2014, at 7:30 PM in the Town Hall Upper Meeting Room, 20 Main Street, Mendon, to consider the application to transfer a restaurant all alcohol license to 6 Nipmuc Drive from Rollo and Son, Inc., DBA Marriott Ballroom, to Imperial Ballroom LLC, under Mass General Law 138, Section 12. All interested parties will be given the opportunity to be heard. Thank you. Sorry, just get that out of the way. All right.
So I move to transfer the restaurant all alcohol license at 6 Nipmuc Drive from Rulo and Son Incorporated, doing business as Marriott Ballroom, to Imperial Ballroom LLC, pending receipt of a positive routing slip, and move to approve Sharon Santucci as manager of the establishment.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
And again, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you guys very
Night.
much for coming in. And okay, next hearing, we have a few minutes. Consider appointing public safety administrative assistant. Sorry, man. Good evening, everybody. How are you? just give me everything back. Sorry, give me 1 sec.
Just give it the whole folder back.
Yeah, but I have another hearing in here.
No, it's not. They're separate. You have separate folders.
There are 2 folders, see that?
So there was... Oh, that was 2 pages. Whatever. You can have it back. I'm going to trust you. Go right ahead, Chief.
Good evening, gentlemen. As you know, we advertised for the administrative assistant for public safety. We advertised in the Milford Daily News, and apparently by advertising in the Milford Daily News, it also goes on monster.com. We received 465 resumes for the position, which I believe is a record for the town, twice over. Based on those 465 resumes, we formed a committee of people that evaluated them and narrowed it down to, I believe, 17. And those people were interviewed and scored, and the lady sitting to my left, Andrea Bickey, by far came out number 1. In fact, Sergeant Kersey's behind me. He was part of that scoring system, along with the town accountant and a few others, and I think there was no one even close.
She was in a different class than everybody else down below.
She has quite extensive history. She was, until recently, the city clerk for the city of Woonsocket. She ran a fairly large office, had employees under her that she supervised. Of course, the first question is, well, why did she leave that job? It's a little bit different in that type of organization. A new mayor comes in and move people out and move other people in. So she had an excellent track record with the city. She worked for the city for approximately
21 years.
21 years prior to being the city clerk itself, running the department. She was a paralegal in the law department, where she, for the most part, ran the law department. Was able to save them money and reduce one full-time attorney and one part-time.
One part-time attorney and a secretary.
I'm hoping that she doesn't make it so efficient that we don't need the chief. But
That'd be okay.
she has wrote legislation. She's conducted hearings, heavily involved in personnel issues. To be honest with you, just extremely impressive. And so we did not expect to get someone like this. Well-educated and has very extensive history with just one employer. And her background was...
One of the best ones I've ever done. No one had one bad thing to say, and everybody said we'd be lucky to have her. You know, and as the chief said, she was a couple months away from being tenured in the job she was at. New mayor came in, and just everybody who supported the mayor came in, got jobs in town.
Understood.
City Hall,
So before I go into the pay and stuff, would you like to ask her questions?
Why is everyone looking at me? No, it sounds like you're a great candidate. I mean, it almost feels like it's a little bit of a step down from a responsibility standpoint, but if you're, I think it sounds like we're lucky to have her, right?
We did have that conversation with her. We were a little bit concerned about that this is somewhat of a step down, but we did promise to work her extra hard. So,
Excellent.
so she would feel like it was just...
Yeah, no. I think it's great. I think every job has its challenges, so I'm sure you'll find some challenges
I'm going
here.
to interrupt for one moment, just because I have to open the hearing. That's okay. And Dana, we'll open real quick. I'll finish up with what we're doing, and then we'll jump right onto that.
We can also step back if you need us to.
I don't think necessarily.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I moved to open the hearing for Mass Electric, National Grid install one pull box over existing underground primary and run new conduit to feed a new development on Strawberry Lane.
Second?
Discussion. In conformity with the requirements of Mass General Law, Chapter 166, Section 22, the Board of Selectmen hereby gives notice that it will hold a public hearing March 24th, 2014, at 7:45 PM in the Town Hall Upper Meeting Room, 20 Main Street, Mendon, to consider the request of Massachusetts Electric Company National Grid to locate manholes, wires, and ducts, including the necessary sustaining and protecting fixtures along and across the public way of Vincent Road / Strawberry Lane, Mendon, Mass. National Grid to install one pole box over existing UG primary and run new conduit to feed new development on Strawberry Lane. All interested parties will be given an opportunity to be heard. Just give us one moment to finish this up, and, oh, sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Just give us one moment, we'll finish this up, and we'll move right out of that.
Questions that you have for her before I go into the pay issue?
I don't have any questions.
Nope.
So we graded her based on the classification, and as you know, there's a grading process that we follow, and based on her grading, we find her to be, she should be a grade 6, step 5, which is $22.64. It is a little bit higher than we anticipated. We have had a conversation with the chairman of the FinCom, and we believe that we will have that money in our budget. We will sacrifice in some other areas to make sure that we can meet that without coming back to the FinCom looking for more money. So we did run that by Mr. FinCom. We did run that by Mr. Schofield, and because of her extensive experience, we believe that that's the pace she should be at. Additionally, we will save money by the fact that we won't have to bring some people on overtime to do some of the jobs that they've been doing the last couple of years. And acting as a confidential administrative assistant, she is, we often hear, well, the police clerk was many years ago when they did the day dispatch and the day secretary work. This position is much different, and to classify it as a police clerk would do a disservice to the position, but also would expose it to an opportunity to be in the union, which of course would be a problem.
Mr. Schofield?
Just a real quick thing, so yeah, I totally agree with what the chief said, but just so you're clear, the FinCom didn't vote on it. We just, Lieutenant Kersey and Sergeant Kersey and I met to just make sure that they knew how we finally balanced the budget.
You almost had to find some more money there a second ago.
Easy on the promotion.
So it fits within the budget. We just want to make sure that given how we balance the budget, that it was still going to work, and it does.
Okay. Is it something the FinCom still needs to vote on, because they just would, if we're
It
gonna...
doesn't change the budget right now.
Okay.
They submit a request to change something.
Yeah, we don't anticipate that.
Okay.
Where did we had this discussion on where the job was to be graded. I don't recall, where was that? Where did we agree to put that?
Grade 5. That's what the personnel policy says, as a police clerk. That's what it says in the policy.
So we're changing the title.
Well, we haven't had a police clerk for almost 10 years.
No, I'm just going back to the
Yeah.
last discussion.
Yeah, we should keep the police clerk, because the day may come, I certainly, it won't be within my career, but the day may come where you might have an administrative assistant and a clerk. I don't anticipate that in the near future, but I don't see any reason to get rid of the position, just don't fund it.
What do we advertise it as, in terms of a title?
Administrative assistant.
But I recall the discussion, we had it as a police clerk for salary discussions.
Well, I was very adamant that where I am with this is I'm not going to vote yes unless it's a grade 5. Obviously, you're very qualified and would be a great asset, so, I'm not going to vote yes based on this salary, but that's where I stand.
I'm sorry?
It's objective.
Oh, yeah, no, I already discussed the review with them. That's where she comes in, based on your classification process.
Diane sent us over a process of where you rate everybody for a position.
I didn't realize that we were using that for everyone, though, so.
You're using it for all your non-union, or as far as I know, your town hall union, non-union people, obviously not your...
I would probably say that's something that's in the course of being implemented. I'm not sure I was aware that we were actively using it. Right now, we're in the process of implementing it, I think, but fair enough. I'm just more, and I just feel like I should be reading something, I'm not sure I can find it, but we graded the job out. So the job is the job. We fortunately, I almost said unfortunately, didn't mean that. We found a very qualified candidate that's going to probably do a fantastic job, and now you're grading the individual. I mean, it's not clear to me how the job get from 5 to 6. You know what I mean? I would have thought that the qualifications of the individual would have moved it across the horizontal, not the vertical, unless we graded the job incorrectly the first time, slotted it.
Well, I guess I'm not sure if we graded incorrectly the first time, but what I did was I based it on the grading system that Diane sent to me that we use. That's really how I did it. And based on that, that's where it came out. So maybe we graded it wrong. I guess I'm not sure how to answer that. I don't really know the answer to that, but based on the system
Well,
that...
I would think that the grading would have fallen out, that she would have at the top step of the grade the job was slotted at. I'm not sure it can go vertically, but I'm not sure I want to...
So the top step of grade 5, is that what you're saying?
I'm guessing, I'm not as familiar with that matrix as, I mean, is that the same item that Linda ran by, saying, hey, this is a great system, we should implement this? Should?
Interestingly, yeah, we wouldn't want to, we actually wouldn't want to go by the top step of grade 5.
That was as an example, I'm not
Yeah.
sure how we went from 5 to 6. If there's something where
Can I
the
see that
degrees
for
and
a
the
second?
things like that move her down the
Yeah,
grade
'cause-
5 slot? Yeah, how'd you get from 5 to 6 is my point.
Well, grading
Based
the
on the
person.
scoring.
Scoring the person.
Yeah, scoring,
Not the person, the position.
the position.
Oh, scoring the
But-
position?
See, if you look at grade 5,
Yeah.
top step, so you wouldn't want to go there. I mean, maybe you could go...
But wait a minute, it's grade, so you said grade 6 what?
Right.
Step 5?
Step 5. You could go grade 5, step 6. I'm sorry.
Or even 8?
I'm sorry, or step 7, or 8.
That's 5 cents more.
You see, the thing is, it's not about finding the number and then figuring out what grade it's in. If it's a grade 5 job, and I'm not saying it is or it isn't, but that's where we left it, then the qualifications of the individual, who's supremely qualified as far as I can tell, and I just want to say, I think we just get to figure out how to close on this. I'm not sure we're saying no, et cetera, but
I'm fine if you want to go grade 5 and based on her qualifications, look at the different steps there and make a decision. I mean, we're not going to argue with you. Whatever you decide, I'm going to ask you to appoint her, and then
can I see the grading sheet, please?
obviously she'll have an opportunity to decide if she wants to take that. And here's the matrix.
Right.
And if you'd like us to step back for your hearing, we certainly don't mind.
Yeah, you know what, yeah, why don't we do that, sorry. Just give us a moment. Dana, come on down. Sorry, forgot about it. You have the floor, sir.
Beautiful. Dana Larson from National Grid, proposing to put underground facilities for Strawberry Lane, which is going to be off of Vincent Way.
Any questions, anybody?
Do you have the new one?
Oh, I got Strawberry Lane. I don't remember.
Vincent Road, right?
All right, this says Vincent Way, but it's probably
Yeah, it's
Vincent
Vincent
Road.
Road.
Because
That's
the previous, the middle, it had the wrong.
Oh, did it?
designation
Okay.
for
I probably just
Vincent,
got the old one.
So
Okay.
they resubmitted
Gotcha.
the corrected map.
Okay.
Any questions? Anyone?
I have none.
I don't have any.
Beautiful.
I move to
Crazy
close the
formalities.
hearing for the Mass Electric National Grid to install one pull box over existing UG primary and run new conduit to feed a new development on Strawberry Lane.
Second?
Discussion? All in favor? Aye. And then,
I move to allow Mass Electric National Grid to install one pull box over existing underground primary and run new conduit to feed a new development on Strawberry Lane.
Second?
discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
One other quick question. I called you
Yep.
about it's, on the assessor's map, it says New England Power Company. Is that National Grid?
Yeah, this
Okay.
is all merged into everyone.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, and I'll talk to you tomorrow about that.
Okay, just give me a ring, I just need to know who to contact, that's all.
Yep, yeah,
All
I
right,
know the
great.
paperwork and everything for that.
Yeah, I found it the other day when I happened to be in the assessor's office and just wanted to let you know if you were having trouble tracking somebody
Yeah.
down, okay, so that's still part of National Grid. Perfect, all right, thank you so much.
Beautiful, thanks,
Have a
guys.
great day. Good luck with the pull box. Come on back up.
We didn't want to hold up the electric company.
La, la, la.
While we were waiting, we had some discussion with the FinCom chairman, and I think he has a couple comments. Perhaps he could come up here and share his thoughts. If I could just have the switch, so if I like his comments, I can keep it going. If I don't, I can send them along.
No, I was just thinking, can't we finish the, make the hire and set the rate and figure out where it goes in the step later? Because I'm just concerned, given the quality of the individual, and we know there's nothing worse than switching costs.
Oh, no,
when
no,
somebody leaves it.
I think that what we just noticed, that, I mean, if you go back into grade 5, I mean, there's definitely, there's an amount in there that's equal to
Yeah.
the step that's in grade 6.
Okay, so either way, it doesn't make any difference.
Yep, we're fine with that.
Yeah,
That's all I wanted to say.
I would agree, I mean, I would agree, and I think that if that satisfies you by being in the
No,
grade,
that's fine.
that's where we were. I mean, we can adjust the position at any other time, again, when we maybe move a little bit more down the road with, I know that we've talked about implementing it, and again, we I don't know if it's 100% in, but yeah, I mean, you did the right thing by taking that. But I mean, if
And based on that spread I saw in grade 5, I think we're okay.
yeah, I mean, it's 5 cents more an hour. I mean, is that, do you think we'll still be good in the budget with that?
I think so.
Okay.
Somehow we'll find that.
You sure?
Can I see that again?
Yeah.
And Mark, this is,
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that, and again, I would,
that is vertical.
I would, again, I don't think that grade and step is really the question. I'm assuming you're not going to take the job, accept the job based upon grade and step, correct? I mean, you would more be concerned with just what the salary number
Yeah.
is, correct?
I don't think she's too worried about grade or step, she's just really worried about the hourly rate.
Understood. Yeah, I mean, that's, that new one is, $18.50 an hour, we should be fine. We like to joke a lot.
I did tell her that you were nice guys.
All right.
She was a little nervous.
Okay, so, huh?
Just-
For me?
I don't have a motion for this if I need one. So-
You don't have a motion?
Nope.
There's a motion, she said. It's the last one. Shh. They'll hear you at home.
Oh, there it is. It's the last one.
Get out of Dodge. So 5-8, I think, right? Where'd it go?
Do you want to sit 5 with,
5-8.
Andrea was the closest I could find to Diane. I won't lie, I did try to lobby her early on.
What?
You're welcome. Stuck with me.
Thank God.
But, found her twin.
Right?
so you want to keep it to a grade 5,
Yep, that's
step 8?
Yep, perfect. And everybody's happy. Oh, wait a minute. I got paperwork. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, I move to appoint Miss Andrew?
Andrea. Vicky.
Miss Andrea and Vicky to position of administrative assistant for the police department,
I'll sign them after.
for the Department of Public Safety at a grade 5, step 8, with an hourly rate of $22.69 effective. Give me a date, somebody.
Oh, today, please. Actually, I'm planning for her to start at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Effective March 21st, 2014.
24th.
Second?
24.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Welcome aboard.
Congratulations.
Forward to working with you.
Yeah. Thanks.
Is there something else that you needed to stay for?
Yeah, it's at the very end, actually, sorry.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Yeah, there
with
is.
The secondhand dealer stuff, the,
Old
Okay.
Fire station.
Oh, yeah. Hey, where you going?
We'll be right back.
Okay. No, we'll put you right at the end. Go ahead, have your fun. All right. Why don't we have Mr. Rudden come up to discuss the Open Americans with Disabilities Act report, building deficiencies, and any overlap in insurance company loss control analysis.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
First, I owe you guys an apology because I understand you waited for me at your last meeting when I was delayed, and I told Mrs. Willoughby I probably couldn't get here at 8:30.
That's
And
all
I
right.
got here a little later, and you were gone home, so I apologize for, she told me the next day you waited for me, and I apologize.
We didn't
deeply.
wait too long. We were very
heard.
happy to get out of here.
I heard, so, I had sent her a version of this memo, which I don't know if you read, but what I've prepared for you is, first, just a quick update on what's gone on in the last year. A request for 3 warrant articles to go on your annual town meeting warrant.
Okay?
And then on the last 2 sheets are a list, first by building and then by category, of planned improvements pending approval by the Community Preservation Committee next Monday night.
Okay.
And I'm also asking you to please approve, although you've had it on your desk for 2 years, please approve the grievance policy.
The what policy?
Page 4 of the memo is a draft grievance procedure.
A grievance procedure, okay.
Yeah. Which has already been legally reviewed by town council in a slightly larger town down the road. Because it's theirs.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because although I gave you a draft of it 2 years ago, the board took it into review and never formally approved it, and
Okay,
it is getting posted on the new website, so.
all right.
Well, nothing should be posted on the new website without our review and approval, I would think, right?
Agreed. We can approve.
Can always be pulled.
Just a quick question. I noticed it says, deactivate the automatic push-button door at the Main Street entrance?
Yes.
So they don't want it now?
We're putting a new one in down below.
Oh. Oh, okay, great. Oh, okay.
You're
so-
forcing people to go up on a grade and into the street.
Oh, I agree. I agree.
To
No,
then go on the crumbling concrete, which is eaten up by road salt,
I'm with
to
you.
then come in. This way, you would move the parking space to the rear.
Yep,
That would have the door, and it'd be right near the elevator.
yep, I'm with you.
And it removes the whole problem of sending people out in traffic.
I agree with you. We shouldn't send anybody out there.
Right, and then that thing will be removed and repaved, so there's no,
They'll remove the ramp,
no, not the ramp.
the out front
The
ramp?
little concrete one that's
front.
actually in the macadam pavement, yes.
Yeah, okay, cool. But the other ramp over here on the side stays.
That is a separate article because we discussed by email in the past. I got messages from you guys and Mrs. Willoughby and Mrs. Mazar that all were in agreement that we could use CPA money to fix that. I've been playing tag with 2 masons to get bids on it right now. The last time it started raining, they had a cover job that they just poured.
Okay.
So I'm hoping to get them here tomorrow before the alleged snow. If not, they'll be after, so we can get some pricing on that. The other pricing I have from when the consultants came in and looked at things, and I'm just in the process of writing that up for next Monday's meeting. I'll have a dollar sign for the CPA committee to look at all the items.
Is there an automatic door on that door, too?
On this door? No,
Well, there will have to be, I'm assuming.
no.
Oh, they won't?
No, the prime handicapped entrance for the building will be down below.
Fair enough. Okay, so you only need one, okay, I see
You
what
only
you're saying.
need one.
Yep, I'm with you.
However, the ramp is in, basically, it's crumbling. The little piece that
Yeah.
runs across on the street side is completely falling apart. And in fact, the mason's going to investigate if you cannot have side stairs going up to the front door from
Over here.
over there, so you're not sending people out into the road from the parking lot.
I like it.
Because basically, the way people drive around here, you take your life into your own hands every time you try to go in the front door of this building.
I hear you.
The traffic out there, it's bad enough they don't use signals, my pet peeve in Mendon. Nothing to do with ADA, but they come flying up there at about 60 sometimes. So basically, a lot of the work I did in the past year, we did approve the spending for the paths at Memorial Field. That work I held off on because I've been working with the Park Commission. As Mark can probably tell you, they were deciding whether or not to actually pave the lots, and it made sense to bid the work together or not, and then they decided, at least Daniel's told me that's too expensive. So we've come along the way to do that. And the other issue we've found is every vendor universally told me, you're crazy to bid it project by project. And that's why the last page says category, because you get a much better price, and get it done quicker than having a guy come to stencil a sign for this project, having come back a week later to stencil for that project. They just come in and blitz them all. And you get a better price in getting the people there. So although we have to break up the funding pots, I want to combine the work, get it done. I met with Mr. Byer for about 2 hours this morning to go over things. We're all in sync with the park department. You're the agent for this building. The renovations haven't changed. And literally in the back, the last page breaks it down. I mean, some of the work is very small. Direction signs and, on buildings, are like $50 a piece. Installing handicap signs and bollards are about $200 a piece. The masonry, I don't have a price for. The pavement striping is a set price per stencil, which can get as low as, I think, $60, I heard. And then the paving, we would repave what we tear up over there, and I can also have the cracked paving along the wall repaired. The other issue was you did ask about the items on the insurance report, whether or not any qualified, and what Mrs. Willoughby sent me, there's two things about trimming back vegetation at the senior center and the fire station that has nothing to do with handicap report. There was one for paving the lot to the left of the police station, the side entrance of the police station. Unfortunately, there's not an issue with the paving and the entrance, because as long as you have the new building being built, there's no justification for making changes to that. I would love to be able to say, hey, we could take care of that, but we can't.
Understood.
And I can't remember what the fourth item on that report was. I think it was paving out here. Oh, it was the crack paving near the ramp. And that will be fixed.
Okay.
I mean, basically, we'll probably be redoing a whole strip right from the side of the ramp.
There was another item that they mentioned was to prevent possible exterior damage. Car stops or curbs should be added to parking areas next to the building.
That can probably be thrown in with the wall repair. It's technically not an ADA repair, but if you're repairing the wall and you got the guy there and we're doing work, to me, it is and is not a repair, but I mean, it's a short stretch and it's not a lot of money to do it while we're doing that. So yeah, that could be done. It's not an ADA requirement, but if you're going to repave all that area, the guy can put stops in. I'm also trying to minimize things for Alan to plow, then by not erecting. The standard is to put a sign on a bollard, which is like a concrete post that you can't knock down. Where here you can put them on the wall and on the building, so that Alan can do a clean sweep with the parking. Up at the town beach, you would want the stands because that's never paved. And in fact, after talking with young Mr. Byer this morning, I realized I had put, the other dilemma was when you pave parking spaces in a dirt lot, the pavement's going to crack off around it, so we decided to seal them on three sides with granite, and then we just went, wait a minute, since there's never any salt or plowing up there, you can use cheaper, I think I said granite in there, you can use cheaper concrete curbing that would anchor the paving so it wouldn't split apart. So, we're going for as minimal expense, but that also solves everything that could be done with CPC money and leaves only the minor issue at the fire station with the restroom. The library is taken care of with the new library, the police station with the new police station. There are no meetings anymore in the records room. And the library, the new library will have visiting exhibits from the Historical Museum. And eventually, all you'll need to do is put a sign on that building that says that. And that building's covered.
So that was, you just, I think you answered my question, so after
The only thing left after these things would be done would be a sign on the historical building.
Right.
He should put a doorbell or a sign on the police station, but I'm going to do that privately out of his budget.
Yep.
Just like Alan fixed his problem last year out of his budget. The only thing that leaves is the bathroom in the new fire station.
Now you really answered my question. And my question was going to be, what's left after this work is done?
The fire station.
Right.
The sign,
And this is all CPC?
yeah, the sign on the front of the historical building directing people to the library. And it should be lower on the sign near the sidewalk so people don't have to try to walk up.
Right.
And then, and that's probably a $50 item, which, I'm sure that we can squeeze somewhere over the next year or two out of the budget. The bathroom is probably 25, I don't even want to say that.
Yeah,
high.
I would think we want to try to wrap it up next year. I mean, put it on the list for
What
potential
needs to
free
be done with the
cash.
bathroom?
You go into the fire station, and the bathroom next to the, what I call the visitor's counter, the counter that's there.
Yeah?
Right behind it is the only one that a visitor would use, and it's not handicapped accessible. The doorway is, but none of the fixtures are.
Oh,
The toilet is, basically, the vanity stand is not. Yeah,
okay.
the toilet is, so it's ripping that out and putting in one, and I would say below $1,000,
Yeah.
less. I'm not a plumber.
Okay.
I mean, you might
You can
be
just
able.
get a price on
And
it.
your recommendation is that FinCom find the money. That's right.
Well, they know about it. We've talked to them about it. I've talked to Capital about it.
No,
And
this
then
is-
when, I'm on the library building committee, so I've been monitoring that. The senior center on its own is undertaking a fundraising drive through some money left us in our gift account to put a handicapped accessible door in that building based on need, not on the code, but on the request of the people. So that's going to be done off on its own. If and when a senior expansion is built, that would have to be retrofitted anyway, so we're just going to beat them to the punch.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
So that's where we are, and I apologize if I posted the, or I scheduled to be posted on the new website, and I apologize if I didn't clear it first, the current version of the transition plan, and which includes that grievance procedure in it, and if you guys want to change it, review it.
Yeah, I think that we can, I mean, accept the grievance procedure and just, I mean, I know it's from Milford and it's reviewed by the council.
It's
Just bounce it to our council,
Yeah.
just so he's okay with it.
It's actually much better reading than the Mass Office on Disabilities suggested one, which goes like,
So I'll accept a motion to accept the grievance, the ADA grievance policy as written on page 4 in the submitted document.
Lonnie, why don't you
from
say
the ADA.
subject to review, just to make it
Yeah,
formal?
pending review from town council.
So moved?
Second?
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
All right, great, thank you so much.
that's
Thank you.
where we are, and again, I said my goal is to put myself out of business as soon as possible, because then you're protected.
Perfect.
And basically, when your new person, whatever title she's called, is on board, well, I don't know what you're calling her, as coordinator, assistant manager, whatever, comes on board, I'll be happy to sit down with her and update her on where we stand, but I'm hoping that if, I updated the plan
Yep.
to put on the items that the town would fund.
great.
It's done,
Perfect.
for now.
And I would love to try to wrap it completely up. Look, see where we stand with free cash. I mean, if there's a couple small things left next year, we should try to knock them out.
What I was going to do is, whoever gets the job of building the bathroom, and I call it, by the way, the office building, I'm told it's the beach building, what is it called?
There's the beach house?
Yes, the beach house. I refer to it as office building, I didn't know what to call it. My goal was, when I got the plumber hired for that, was to take him down the fire station and say, give me a price. And that would establish the price,
Okay. It's a plan.
so,
Perfect.
all right, guys.
Thank you so
sir.
much.
Anytime.
Discuss old fire station energy usage. Yeah, I guess there was an increase in the energy usage over the last year or something like that.
Yeah, I guess I was talking to Bill McHenry, and there was a 400% energy usage increase in the old fire station. And that was before this winter. So he was actually looking at last year's. And I got an email from him today, because I guess he went over there to look again. And he said that, I guess there was a storm window that was open that might have been causing some issues. But I guess the bigger question I have is, can we basically shut down that building? I know there's maybe like the tanker that would have to be moved and drain the pipes or whatever, but
Yeah,
can
we use that build, we keep the temperature at 60 degrees. We use that building for a couple of things. One, for our tanker, which obviously has to be somewhere where it doesn't freeze. Also, our oxygen supply is in there, which can't be that cold. We'll have a problem with our cascade system, our oxygen cascade system, which is the tanks against the far wall you'll see over there. The other problem is that by draining that building and not environmentally controlling it all, it's my understanding that will promote deterioration of the building, mold, which of course is a concern. The building's in pretty rough shape. We're going to have to start thinking about what we want to do with that building. I mean, I think we put a roof on it a few years ago, might have been through CPA, but we really need to start thinking about what we're going to do with that building, because it's falling apart. And it's a valuable piece of real estate, and there's a lot of history there, but we're going to have to spend some money on it. My recommendation is not to shut it down, take it out of the heat, because we don't control the environment. It's going to aggravate the conditions we already have, promote mold, and then, of course, we have a problem with our oxygen supply and the tanker that we have in there.
Help me understand the oxygen supply. Why is that not at the new fire station?
It's a great question.
Well, I come up with them once in a while.
We have a cascade system that is no
Yep.
longer allowed. It's
Okay.
grandfathered. If we move it,
Yeah.
we can't have it
Okay.
anymore. But we are exploring some other opportunities to maybe deal with that in the future, but that's the deal. We have it, it's been there so long, we get to keep it.
Right.
If, go new building,
Is
it's
that one of
illegal.
those things that's on the cap planning? I mean, I'm assuming that costs a bit of money, whatever the replacement would be?
I'm sorry, for the building or for the?
No, for the oxygen, an oxygen solution, whatever that
Yeah,
may be.
the technology is developing where we may not need to use a cascade system. Some departments have already converted to a delivery system where, like, Mass Oxygen comes in and makes deliveries into an in-house system, and we're actually exploring that. In fact, we were having some discussions about that today to look at, there might be some cost savings there for us, so we're still exploring that.
Is the building, is it air conditioned as well?
No, no.
So in the summer,
It's
is there a mold potential with the humidity?
If you keep a window open in the summertime, you do all right if you got stuff moving through. But when you get the temperatures where it gets really cold, warm, you start to have that condensation issue. So if you kind of regulate it at the lowest amount, I mean, we might be able to go a little lower. We could take a look at maybe going down to, I've got to see what the specs are for the oxygen. Maybe we could go down to 55. But
So really, the biggest things that need heat are
the vehicles that we put in there, the oxygen, and just keeping a stable environment in the building. The other thing to remember, too, is that it affects our ISO rating if we shut that down and we take trucks out of there. I purposely put trucks in the two buildings to make sure that it maintains a good ISO rating, which affects every taxpayer in town by their liability insurance. Because the ISO rating is established by how close fire trucks are housed to where you live, as far as for your hazard insurance. And that's because we don't have.
But the
so there's
people to drive those trucks are not in close proximity, or they are in close?
They don't have to be the phys, just.
Yeah, it's where the truck's housed. There is an issue about how many full-time people you have on duty at any given moment, but there's also an issue about where your trucks are housed, what type of vehicles they are. As an example, we get penalized because we don't have a ladder truck.
Loophole.
Yeah, but realistically, I mean, I understand what you're saying, it makes sense, but realistically, I'm not sure we're going to maintain that building in perpetuity and invest in that building to maintain an ISO rating. I would.
Well, no, that's just one of the other issues with it. I mean, we need it for vehicles, and we currently need it for.
Room at the inn in terms of the new building for the.
Well, I mean, we may end up with more room once we move some of that mechanical stuff out, so we can take a look at it there, because of course that lift takes a whole bay. But if that lift's going to move to the to the highway department, things may change.
The state vehicles that are in there, do we get anything for
No,
housing those?
what happens is fire departments take turns letting them stay places. They're coming out of ours this year. I think they might have been in Grafton, and, we all try to house part of the regional apparatus. For instance, I have the ATF bomb unit. That was in Grafton. It would have stayed in Grafton, but it couldn't fit in their building.
Where do we keep the bomb? I'm sorry.
If you saw the marathon, you probably saw a giant white command post.
No, where do we? I was just
It's in the
wondering
fire station.
Okay.
The new fire station.
New one.
It's full of bombs.
So,
No,
but,
there's no bumps in it.
well, yeah, that's fair. I'd just be kind of curious. I mean, it seems like there's two things. You got vehicle storage and you've got the oxygen situation
Yeah,
that
I
needs to be
mean,
addressed.
if it's the wish of the board, I can try to move by the time the next winter, next winter gets here.
Well, I mean, I'd be interested to see what this past winter was. I mean, if it was up for some reason in 1 year. I mean, so what was, it's not like, I mean, fuel went up, but it didn't go up. At that time, it was pretty stable, so.
Yeah, that certainly
where's
makes
the
me think there's a
$400
problem.
well, sorry, 400% increase? I'd be more interested to know where that came from.
I'd imagine that number is all energy usage, so electricity and fuel to heat the building.
Right,
That's
but it-
how
We use virtually no electricity.
Still,
But again, there's an increase, so I just.
in terms of increase, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right, so, yeah, so where was the problem that year, and where is it in this year compared to that year? Is it
If
now,
it's-
is
if
it
it's
down
this-
now 300%?
Yeah, if it's still there this year, then we need to take a look at there must be a structural issue somewhere.
So, yeah, something's broken or something's not
I
efficient.
mean, a hole somewhere in the building that heat's getting out would be my guess.
I'll be honest, the thing that caught my ear was, looking at an alternative to the current oxygen solution you have in place. I'd love to kind of follow up on that and see
Yeah,
where that goes.
we're actually working on that now, and it's funny, we just had the conversation today, and it really had nothing to do with this, but we have a possibility where it may actually be a cost savings for us. We have another fire department told us about a system they're using.
Yep.
And it's a delivery system, and according to them, it's about half the price.
Perfect.
So we'd like to take a look at it, and we are exploring
Open up
that.
the bulk purchasing?
I don't know enough about it, we just heard it today.
Yeah.
I asked Mark Bikina to look into it, and he's looking into it as we speak. So I hope to have some answers
What
maybe
does
even
Upton
this
use,
week.
as an example? I mean, when I think bulk purchase, I'm thinking,
Yeah,
Consortium or something?
yeah,
no idea what Upton uses. We got this from Hopedale.
yep.
Hopedale has a delivery, when I say delivery system, just to be clear, a company that comes in and delivers
Right.
into the in-house delivery system. So we're going to take a look at that and see if that would work for us.
Okay. Anything else on that?
Nope.
Discuss regulations for secondhand dealers.
We're fine with that. I think you wanted to change the dates.
We edited the names, made it Mendon.
Yeah.
Changed it to 14 days.
We were looking for recommendation on what seemed reasonable, so
Yeah, and
14 days.
we've got,
Yeah, I think that's what we ended
Or I
up
was.
last time, was the days.
we had discussed that at a previous meeting. I think you wanted to go with a little shorter period.
I think we were back, I think we agreed on everything
14
else, we're
days?
just back and forth in the days. And I put it to 14 and changed everything, so.
I'm cool.
And he seems pretty willing to help out. He's gonna take the pictures, do everything else that he needs to do, so it should work.
Who's that?
The dealer down there.
Oh, it's not us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that once we understood their process a little bit better too, because they're sending all kinds of information nonstop to you guys, so.
This will also help you for future businesses coming
Yep.
into now, so.
Yeah, great, great. No, I
And if
think
we
it's
find
good-
there's
I
a
think
better
was
way to
good
do it when they get in
middle
town,
work.
you know,
And if there's like I said, if there's a problem, we'll increase it to 30 days if we need to. But I think given all the information that we're going to be getting, I think we'll be in good shape. Okay, so,
Frankly, it'll be an opportunity for us to learn a little bit more about it, because we haven't had that in the town. So start us, they may come into town and say, have some really good ideas, and we might come back to you and say, hey, let's look at changing this.
so what is that?
This is the updated one. I can send it to you. I can send it to
And
Diane through email.
what is that? Is that just a regulation, or,
It's the same policy we gave you last time.
so it's just a policy?
Same
Yeah.
policy. We changed the amendment and changed the days. That's really the only
What's
problem
the
we had
date?
last time.
What's the date?
The
Is that
days.
dated? No, is that
I didn't
document
date
dated?
this yet or anything like that. This is just.
I'm just wondering what I have to refer to in the motion.
As presented tonight?
I give you the hard copy and then email you the other
No,
copy.
good, thanks.
Okay.
No, you have to retype it into the
No.
motion.
No, nominate, it's a
Send me
Word
it.
document.
Write this down.
Mr. Chairman, I move to adopt the rules and regulation for secondhand dealers as presented and discussed this evening.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Consider reinstating the BYOB policy?
If you guys choose to vote it as is tonight, that's fine. I'd just like an opportunity to, I do want to look at it. I have a couple small areas I might want to make recommendations on, but I don't mind if you vote it through tonight, and then I can send
We
you
have anybody waiting?
This
modifications.
is out for town council, isn't it?
And he did have a.
Oh, okay, he probably, his...
That was maybe-
Yeah.
did you see his
Then
version?
Well, if town council looked at it, I'm all set.
Yeah, it was, the question that you asked me to put to him was relating to the adult entertainment.
Oh, which we got the answer back on that.
And he said, do you want me to read? what-
No, it pretty much said, don't worry about it.
Yeah, then I'd like an opportunity to look at, because if that's all he looked at, I've got some concerns on a couple of things in there.
Okay, I don't think anybody...
Nothing serious.
Wait, nobody even applied yet, right?
Policy. Do you have it?
Are we posted for next week to sign the warrant?
We will be.
Okay.
I hope
So we can also revisit this at that
But
time.
Yeah,
Is there an
I'll bang it out and
application,
send it to you.
though,
It's-
open? I know
it's
somebody
not
called and
anything big.
asked.
You know, an example would be, it specifically states a Mendon police officer, we'd want to change that to a police officer. Any police officer acting under their authority, if, you know, if we call for mutual aid and a Hopedale police officer there, if a state police officer happened to come in, we don't want to restrict it that it's only,
Oh, maybe we do.
well, maybe you do.
I'm only kidding. Okay, but there's no application pending, right?
Well, no, because we don't have a policy.
Oh, so are they eager to get moving?
Well, it's Uber Cafe,
Yep.
and they had asked about this, and that's kind of why it got going.
Yep, yep.
The one thing I noticed in the current policy was that it mentions that fast food establishments, and they define fast food as any food establishment that doesn't have table service, that's a fast food establishment.
Well, does it say table service or tables?
Table service.
Okay.
So, they do, if you're gonna eat there, you order at the counter, and you sit down and they do bring it to you. Is that table service?
Well, see, the problem is there isn't a particular definition section in it which defines that. So if you give me a week, I'll address those issues and some of the issues I have, and I'll kick it back to you electronically. If you guys look at it before the next meeting, then you'll have whatever you want by then.
And that's a definition that we set, right?
Yeah, you set whatever you want for definitions, but if you don't set definitions, then it's either the common belief, the common term, or it is often the battleground.
It's like a
Everyone-
table of uses for zoning bylaws.
Yeah, it becomes the battleground,
So
where
we gotta
everyone has a
further
different opinion.
define table service, basically, is what we have to do.
Well, that's one thing, yeah.
How about
yeah.
if they just have tables?
I suggest we hold off for a week and see what we
Five
get.
Yeah, I'll have it back to
Minimum
you.
of 5
I'll have it
tables.
back to you long before your next meeting. I'll kick it to all three of you electronically, take a look at it, see what you think.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I think we're all set with you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Consider
Thank
application,
you
thank you.
for pointing her. Thank you.
Kids, fantastic.
Yeah.
Consider
Very
applic-
qualified, sorry.
Consider,
We'll just keep talking.
you
over
you-
you.
you guys, well, you said 8 o'clock, and it's already 8:30. I'm trying to do as fast as I can. Consider application for Monday through Saturday entertainment license Uber Cafe, 32 Hastings Street.
I move to grant a Monday through Saturday entertainment license to Northman LLC, doing business as Uber Cafe, 32 Hastings Street, Suite 101, from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. in a cafe and outdoor patio.
Second?
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Consider renewing seasonal common vic Monday through Saturday and Sunday automatic amusement device licenses for Southwick Wild Animal Farm, Inc., DBA Southwick Zoo, 2 Southwick Street, and Don Faniff, DBA Mendon Driving Range, 37 Hastings Street.
I move to renew seasonal common victular Monday through Saturday and Sunday automatic amusement devices licenses for Southwick's Wild Animal Farm, incorporating new business as Southwick Zoo, to Southwick Street, and Don Fanoof, doing business as Mendon Driving Range, 37 Hastings Street.
I'm abstaining, because I work at Southwick Zoo.
I'll step down in a second. Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, abstentions?
Aye.
Consider supporting Senate Bill 2019. What is it? We know what the bill is?
Is this this is the tax, small business thing?
Tax reduction?
Hold on. That's the solar one.
2019 solar?
In regards to what we need to happen, is that the
Yeah.
case? Okay. So what do we do to support it?
I wrote the letters that was based on Duncan's
Oh,
email.
Mike's wicked slow.
Okay, I'm signing this. Signing as fast as I can.
Take your time, we'll take a break right now.
These need to be signed.
Yeah, I'll do them at the end, yeah. Well, anything I haven't.
I'll hold on these.
Okay. What if somebody wants to dance at the zoo on Sunday? I don't see a
They
permit
have
for
to
that.
apply.
And let me tell you something, if I am up there on a Sunday and I catch anybody dancing without a permit, there is gonna be, no chickens allowed at the zoo, there'll be no dancing allowed at the zoo. We'll shut them right down. We will shut them right down.
So there are a couple bills out there regarding net metering, and as you know, everything that we've sort of passed in our last town meeting is going to be dependent on the net metering process to move ahead. So we are in support of Bill 2019. There's another Bill 2030 that was, it says it was drafted by National Grid, but appears to be more in terms of, I think, putting more of a firm cap in there and maybe slowing our progress down. So 2019 is in our best interest based on,
And 2030 is not.
right. So I
2019.
move to support Senate Bill 2019.
Second,
Second?
discussion. All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
I'll have to sign it.
Yeah, you gotta sign these. I think we all get to sign this one.
Okay.
And these are just letters to Representative Fernandez and Senator Moore.
We have a, consider proclaiming equal pay day. So, is the day for equal pay now? Suppose it's a day for it. Right? I would agree. I'd like to proclaim, I'll accept a motion to proclaim equal pay day 365 days a year.
I move to proclaim Tuesday, April 8th, 2014, Equal Pay Day.
Second?
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So be it. You want to sign it? Consider purchasing replacement printer for assistant treasurer collector. I'm not going to discuss this. I mean, unless there's a specific technical question.
What's the? what are they
Unless
using right now?
either that or I'm going to come across to the other side of the table and not sit here and discuss it. So I'm going to switch hats for a quick moment. I'm Lonnie Tinio from World Band.
Nice to meet
In the treasurer collector's office, as well as in a few places throughout town offices and whatnot, there is some older printers that were pretty much just user printers. They're inkjet printers that are, just directly attached with a USB cable to the PCs. And this one in question was at the collector's desk. And again, it's an inkjet printer, so if there's going to be, it's our recommendation that any inkjet printers that are in use do not get replaced with inkjet printers, that they would be replaced with laser printers. Cost per print is way less with laser because it's already a dry toner that doesn't dry up. So with the inkjet printers, if they don't use them, they will dry up. But in the same token, there's that desk has already been redirected to print to the laser printer that's located in that office, which is a high capacity laser printer that's not too far away from the desk. So again, I don't know that it would be up, if you were looking for a justification on the use of it, I would ask that you discuss that with the collector's office. As, again, I don't know if it's necessary, but again, again, that's not for a decision for me to make.
Right. So this starts to feel a little bit like the, what we talked about in terms of printers and scanners, sort of along those lines. I mean, I'm just wondering if there's some alternative solutions we should be looking at more from an infrastructure standpoint, because I'm not sure, Let me pause for a second and take a question from the audience. Mr. Schofield?
I think we should, the same way we've done with the requests for additional hours and et cetera, we still need to have an administrator.
Yeah.
Just let them decide what we need and don't need.
And think bigger about it, more scale. I think, we've got to think infrastructure a little bit more globally than we have been, whether it's the phone system, printers, copiers, et cetera.
She'll start off with a written assessment, right, Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Yeah, of the capital equipment that we have, and she'll be able to use that as well as, obviously, with the current situation, is to determine what we should do next in the bigger plan, just like you said.
Yeah, no, it sounds like she's able to get the job done and maybe a little bit more inconvenient for her, but, in the short term, it's probably something we should kind of hold on and kind of get a bigger
Right, I haven't talked
perspective
to
on it.
them in the treasurer's office about it, so I wouldn't be able to make a decision on it now.
All right. So do I really have to make a motion not to purchase? Or?
No.
Yeah, okay. So
Just a suggestion,
okay. I suggest we move on and kind of pen that one to a later date.
I agree.
Mr. Tino, you can join us at this side of the table.
One. I would have been able to go home. All right.
My understanding of your popularity is that you may beat me in writings.
I will not accept. You can't review the selectmen's submittal for the annual town report because I have not written it yet. I'll do that this evening. Approve regular session meeting minutes, February 3rd, 7 PM and 10, February 3rd and 10?
I got a motion.
Okay, go ahead.
I move to approve the regular session meeting minutes of February 3rd, 7 PM, March 10th, 2014, and executive session meeting minutes of March 10th, 2014, not to be released.
Second?
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Discuss signing, modifying tax classification, and possibly amend motion made at 3:10 meeting to allow Lonnie to sign a letter of support. Oh, is that this right here?
yes.
Okay, do you want to sign based on...
Is that the one we did last time about the tax?
Right, you had asked me to send Jean and the assessor and the treasurer collector.
Okay,
And Jean wrote back saying that we don't classify that way, and she questioned whether you wanted to
right.
sign that based on the fact that Mendon does not
Doesn't even
classify that way. Right. Because there are so many small businesses in Mendon that it has to put the burden of the balance of their tax.
Okay, so we're going to modify the motion to not support this.
It's up to you, if you
Yep.
want to change your mind on what you.
Yeah,
agreed
if
to
there's
last-
if it's not necessary to us, I mean, it does, but by us supporting it, doesn't mean that we have to do it. Is this going to help another community with businesses in it that, should we morally be, whether or not it affects Mendon in any way, shape, or form, should we? Should we, well, morally, should we as a community be supporting this for other communities, that this will help business out in the other communities? And what would this benefit us had we classified this way, I guess is the question, so.
Well, the burden of what taxes the small businesses don't pay go on the bigger businesses in
Businesses.
Mendon. And there aren't a lot of big businesses in Mendon, so the burden would be.
Shifted.
Yeah,
Right.
to those small amounts.
But we don't classify this way anyway, so.
Correct.
But if by supporting it, we're helping small businesses somewhere else. If it passes.
Is this after I left the last meeting?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm sitting there going, wow, this is
No, you were here.
not according to this.
So, I mean, I'm okay with supporting
Yeah, I
it.
mean, I think of like, maybe Milford or Bellingham, where there's big box stores, and then you have the small business trying to compete. I mean, maybe
So
it's not like
support.
a town is losing.
So if this-
tax revenue.
Right.
So,
You weren't here, you don't get to talk about it. I'm only kidding.
No, so, but real quick then, what you're saying is because we don't classify this way, even if we were to pass, it does not necessarily affect Mendon.
Right, until we wanted to classify that way, we could go ahead and do that.
Okay.
And again, it doesn't adjust anything financially for the town. It's financial items for, it would be the, like Mark had just said, I think in Mendon, you would think that, okay, so somebody's small, example, I guess, my girlfriend's salon, and as opposed to, she would reduce her taxes, Imperial's taxes would increase. That's how I would look at it here in Mendon for now.
That's
But
really
we
all
don't
the
need-
options. There's really not many big businesses.
Right, exactly,
in
exactly.
No, I mean, if we're impacting Mendon directly, then I would not be in favor of it, because I'm not really sure I necessarily agree with the shift that way.
Sure.
If it's more, I guess, I don't know, it's more of a ceremonial type of support to the bill, and you guys already approved it,
I'm
have at it.
all for reducing taxes on small business. Flooring quotes? Nothing?
Well, where do we stand? I know you said.
I'm good with the historical company there that was.
Okay,
to
so
refinish these floors.
then,
It was the more expensive one, but I think that's the best way to go.
so your recommendation would be to tell the CPC
Yes,
that that's the amount that you would like?
my personal.
I would agree.
Sure.
We're all in agreement on that. I don't think we need to go in executive session, do we?
No, we haven't gotten that.
Okay. You want me to we want to pick some dates for April and May?
Sure.
I would say we don't go past the ATM. No, we can go past the ATM. There should be one meeting, one last meeting before the election. Generally,
Before.
after the ATM, before the election, it's generally.
One meeting between now and the election, that's
When's
not
the
too many
election?
meetings.
It's the second, the election, is it the 13th?
So it's going to be the 13th.
Yeah,
I think it's the 13th.
So
So you're
wanna meet
meeting,
the 12th?
you're meeting March 31st, which is next Monday, to sign the warrant and a couple
Yeah.
other things.
Which
So
is an
that-
oddball, so
Right.
17th, so
Is
go
there a
ahead.
chance FinCom can join us next Monday?
17/7.
When we go through the warrant?
I would say the
And
7th,
will have you reviewed it before then?
21st. And then we go to May. So then it would be the ATM, which is the 2nd. No, over there. ATM's on the Friday.
All right.
ATM, and then I would say meeting on the 12th. And then, yeah,
So you will meet at 6:30
what?
for the ATM?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll be here before you know it.
Hopefully some warm weather gets here before we know it. Okay. 45 minutes late, sorry, guys.
You said 10:30.
No way. Anything else? You guys have anything else you want to discuss?
I think they're waiting for the outcome of all the meeting dates you guys just.
Oh, wait a minute. No, we're here for something else. We have something else. Discuss the ballot vote in the warrant article for Blackstone Valley
Ah,
Tech.
yes.
That's what you've been, Milford Daily News lost out. They're not gonna have the big story. Come on down. Yeah. So, based upon,
I just want to make sure we understand the ins and outs of the decision in terms of,
so, there's,
It's just from a clean getaway.
I know. Sorry, so I think that, so what I know I've discussed with Rich, and I'm sure he's contacted you guys too, is that there's a couple ways to go about this. So we can reduce, actually, I'm going to let you go over the details of it, and then any ideas.
Okay, so you're just looking for me to address the mechanics for the moment?
Please.
Yeah.
Okay, so, so what I wrote up and sent to Diane today was a warrant article for the request for the debt that he wants to incur, the 2.9 million, contingent upon a debt exclusion, a 2.5 override debt exclusion. And then also for the ballot item that would go to vote.
Yep.
Yeah, so she's got both of those.
So that warrant article is contingent upon.
The passage of the 2.5 override.
Right, okay.
Right,
So we have to, so that we're not going to fund that through the operational budget.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, we just can't.
No, fair enough. So on that note, if it does pass in the other communities and didn't pass here, and we did not fund that, our students could potentially not have the opportunity to use the resources for the new facility. So just want to make sure that that's out there. That's
Yes,
correct.
that's a potential.
So for the project expansion those finances would cover. Say it again? Yeah, it's for 3 new additions to their current.
That's right.
Menu of services that.
Veterinary assisting, engineering, and legal and protective services.
Okay, so that's just an outcome of that. At this time, so then that goes to ballot. Then there's the question of the operational increase. And where do we stand with that right now?
Okay, so, so as you had requested, we had to go back and find the last $20,000 that we needed to balance the budget. It is the opinion of the Finance Committee and numerous other Finance Committee members from all the other 12 towns, as well as town managers, some selectmen, that there has absolutely been an amount of mission creep at Blackstone Valley, and that we can not afford the operational impact of either the debt or the increase in FY15's budget request.
Okay, so with that being said, we're not going to, so the Article 4, line item 4, BVT will not include the increase.
Okay, so the way BVT presents their budget to us is in 3 components. Component number 1 is minimum local contribution, which naturally we must fund because the state says we must fund it. Then there is a somewhat more gray bucket that the school claims is mandatory. I would argue that it's much more gray than that, but it's the bucket that includes transportation, retiree medical, and capital expenses. That's another roughly, the first bucket was about 661, the second bucket is about 84,000, and the last bucket, which is uncontested voluntary, is the bucket called additional contribution. The amount in that bucket is $10,801. And that's the piece that we've subtracted from the recommended number in Article 4.
Okay, all right. So, okay, that's fine. We funded the last, and I know that you and I had this conversation, and it just took me a minute to remember. We funded the last increase, the last debt exclusion in the operational budget.
Yes, that's right, yeah, and it's currently being paid for inside the operational budget. That's
Within Article 4?
Yep.
Okay. What does that cost?
For this year, I believe the number was $15,479. If it's not that number, it's darn close.
Okay. Okay. I know that we talked, and I don't know if this is right or wrong, but should we take that money, now because it's already in Article 4, so it's already funded, if we were to put it into the debt exclusion money for the for the new debt exclusion they're asking for. We also slide that $16,000 in there. That would free up that amount, if it passed, that would free up that amount of money in our operational budget.
Well, it would also significantly simplify paying it, because what Dr. Fitzpatrick plans to do is to refinance the existing debt, which is 10 years old, has another 10 years on it, and it's at a 5% interest rate, and the new interest rate will be 3.5 roughly, and he's expecting to partially fund some of what he wants to do by gaining that efficiency.
Okay, so I don't know that, again, we're not 100%, we're not really, I would assume that we're not, based upon what we've discussed, that we're not recommending the debt exclusion, and we're not recommending the increase.
Right.
Collectively, I don't know. I don't know what everybody's feelings are. I know I'm on, at this time, I'm on board with that, based upon, given Mendon's financial position. So, if it's legal and it's okay to do that, I would like to propose that we add that into the debt exclusion. If it passes, that also frees up some money. So for instance, if we're obligated to pay the debt exclusion, and we're obligated to pay the Article 4 additional, then by putting it onto the debt exclusion, we've also freed up that $10,000 that would be needed, with an additional $5,000.
So what that means is that I'm going to need to resend Bob another email that explains that that's what we want to do, and how does the language change? Because now it's absolutely outside my capability to determine what that language should be.
Just ask a couple, so we funded a debt exclusion through our operation, Article 4 in the past, is that what we're saying, right?
Yes.
Yep.
And that is not the 10,000 that's additional operational, is it?
No.
Right. So you got that, and you're and we probably did that because came down to be a small dollar amount that we could do through the operational budget.
And that's the same argument being put forth now.
Okay. So, but what we're suggesting is that why aren't we taking, as we would any other debt, sort of debt exclusion type of approach, let's put it through the, debt exclusion override, because that's what we can. And what you're saying is not only that for the 2.9 that he's asking for this, and it's not 2.9 that's to us, the total.
It's our share of 2.9.
Our share of 2.9, you're also saying take the previous debt exclusion, roll that into that as well, right? So you get debt exclusion override to fund all the debt associated with BVT asks of the town of Mendon. And I thought you said, and I want to clarify this, but then there's also the 10,000 which we are pulling back from his ask, so that, correct?
Yeah, that's completely separate.
Completely
It's
separate.
probably dangerous to even mention it in this regard, because it's confusing to people, I
That's
think.
right.
I'm
So
sorry, I didn't, in real, if everything was to pass, we would
Let me
essentially-
explain it like this, it might be clearer. So currently, we pay just over $15,000 a year for the existing debt. The new debt would add $20,000-ish.
I would prefer to keep all the debt asks together. I think
Okay, that's what I'm trying to explain. So were he not to refinance it, it would be $15,000 plus $20,000, $35,000. But he's refinancing it, so the 15 plus 20 becomes something like 30. And what Mr. Tenio is suggesting is that instead of leaving the 20 separate and continuing to pay, and have that handled by a debt exclusion, and continuing to pay the 15 inside Article 4, have it one override that will be almost infinitesimally noticeable to the residents, and have it combined into one.
But it keeps our books cleaner in my mind.
There's no question, yeah.
I mean, I don't
It
like
also
this.
frees up 15 grand of operational money that we could really be using right now.
No, agree, but I think transparency is probably the word that comes to mind on this one, and that way we kind of can keep, because as BVT invests, and we've got debt associated with that school system, we have debt associated with Nipmuc, and, let's just kind of keep an eye on those line
And if it
items.
doesn't pass, it just stays the status quo for right now. And then, at another meeting, we could always ask for that to go out to a debt exclusion if we needed to.
How much is the existing debt from BVT that we're paying that $15,000 a year, do you know?
I'm sorry, we mean, what's the total amount of the debt? I don't know off the top of my head. Yeah. But I just want to make sure we're crystal clear, right? So we're having a conversation about what happens should should town meeting decide to go against what we're going to recommend, which is to not incur the debt in the first place.
Correct.
Because the big issue with the debt, incurring the debt, is the downstream operational impact that costs, the fact that it costs us twice as much, over twice as much, to educate a child at BVT than it does at the local school system. And that's the big thing. Mendon cannot afford to do that when the programs overlap what's happening at the school system, which is what I referenced as mission creep earlier in this conversation. So I just want to make sure that's clear to anybody listening, that this is a kind of, okay, if we get stuck and we have to do it, then the best thing we can do about it when we get there is to do this. Yeah.
So we're going to have it on the warrant, but we're not recommending.
Yeah, and I want to call Jay, because we'll be in the somewhat clumsy situation of the FinCom having to say, I make a motion that the town vote to da-da-da-da-da-da, and then when Jay says, the moderator says, discuss to Mrs. Schofield, I'll have to say, well, we recommend that we not do this. So I know we're not supposed to typically make motions that are negative.
But the motion has to be positive to make the motion.
I understand.
The recommendation can be negative.
No, I totally understand that, but I think I want to find out if there's an exception when the motion and the article are mandated, because if you don't put them on, they automatically pass. I wonder if there's an exception for that. So I'm going to check, but otherwise, we'll do exactly what you said.
Or if it makes it cleaner, the Board of Selectmen could make the motion for the article, or anybody from the floor could make the motion for the article, and then that way it shows the.
It'll be Lonnie's last stand.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. On top of the table. All right, so all that being said, the other issue that I just want to bring up, and okay, yeah, it's not even, I'm just going to touch upon it because I think we'll probably discuss it at the next meeting, is the building inspector salary situation.
Oh, yeah, I thought we were going to talk about it.
Yeah, he's not here, which is fine. I think that we'll just talk about it at the next meeting then. But, I've been speaking with Rich as well as Tim Icardi, who's our building inspector. The long and the short of it is that for a very long period of time, we were very lucky that we had a building inspector that did it for mere peanuts, I guess, for lack of a better term, when Mr. Hackinson was our building inspector. And so although that was great for a very long period of time, it is now reared its head that Mr. Hackinson is retired, and Mr. Icardi came in from the assistant building inspector's position and now has been doing it for that price, but has been looking and evaluating the department and that position, and based upon area, and we've had this discussion with him before in here, that the salary that we're paying doesn't really constitute what we should be paying that position, and I would agree with what he's saying. So it's, we've been trying to find a way that, okay, so how do we start to get this on the horizon so that it can be into the budget, and how do we fund this? So, at this stage of the game, we're this far apart in what the ask is and what we're currently funding it. And I think that given maybe the way some situations fall moving forward through the ATM and after the ATM, that we look and see, okay, can we close that gap a little bit and satisfy the request? Because again, no matter what happens here, so if the current building inspector stays at the low rate, he's doing it, out of the kind of his heart, I think, in the anticipation that something is going to increase down the road. If he leaves, we're going to have to find somebody else to do it out of the kindness of their heart until it increases and becomes reasonable. But if there's, I think, some headway, if we're making some headway towards closing that gap, that it would make it a little bit more amenable. But I think that we're not going to find anybody to fill that position at the current prices that we're paying, and get the quality of work that we're getting out of what's happening right now. So again, I just want to keep discussing this, because I think it's one of those items that should happen, probably on the higher end of the list. But again, we do have a lot of asks that are all reasonable. I just don't want to see something happen. Again, if there's any way to, again, I suppose that, do you kind of, is our path to maybe sprinkle?
We've got a lot of asks for increased hours, increased wages, you know what I mean? And I think, as we said earlier, I think the employee, the compensation plan, et cetera, top of my list for the administrator to start getting her head around. I think we prioritize these things just like we would any ask in terms of, free cash. Like, where do we think the right position to address first is? And I'm happy to have that discussion. but
That's actually a really good point, because, as I've said before, I get frustrated that we get drip fed. Nobody does it on purpose. I mean, I understand that. I mean, and I think from talking to Mr. Icardi, I think it's pretty clear that something hasn't been equitable there. That seems pretty clear. But by the same token, we also got to figure out, well, how we address it. So it'd be great to say, have another one of Kimberly's 30, 60, 90 exercises be, okay, can we just compare all of what we're paying, all of the different functions, and how far off of average are we around, so we know where the biggest risks are? Because if there's another couple places, and they're only going to pop up later.
It's part of implementing that, that compensation grid that we looked at tonight, right? It's all part and parcel, So, yeah, I mean, I'm happy to,
Okay.
we want to be fair and equitable.
Yeah, right. I don't want to, just want to make sure it doesn't get lost in the shuffle, that's all.
Yep.
If it does,
It's all Rich's fault.
Rich's fault. Thanks.
All right, just because we're coming to the close on the DVD, and I don't want to waste another one, anything else?
Nope.
Accept a motion to adjourn?
make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Good night, everybody, thank you.
So make sure all these get signed.
You should think about sort of consolidating, what are the big bubbles that we want to look at, you know what I mean?
Sure.